Well, I want to say thanks for inviting me. I'm glad to come out. It's very unfortunate. It's a sad tragedy, and it's one of those things. As a parent, I can't believe that we're doing this again in the sense that another tragedy is taking place. That children have been targeted, specifically in schools. I know that's happened in churches, which is shocking in itself. But it's one of those events that take place. Is every time it happens, we check ourselves and say, how does this happen again? And I don't have the answers to why it happens. I can only tell you, here in Marshall, I can talk a little bit about some of the things that we're trying to do, obviously to prevent it. Prevent it first of all. So one of the things I would say is if someone makes a comment, whether it's a child or an adult, that it doesn't seem right talking about violence or doing violence. Today we live in a world where we have to take that seriously. Now, I know years ago people would say something like this and they could go undetected. Someone would ignore it. They would think it's just talk. But today we can't do that because we don't know when it's real and when it's not. So we owe it to our fellow citizens that if someone makes a comment, whether it be an adult, child, young person, we have to take it seriously and certainly report that. So if you hear something or see something, say something. Report to authorities, contact the school district, and we owe it to our children to take all of this seriously. Many times, incidents like this, you look into it, what caused it? That's always the question. Why did it happen? There's never a good reason as to why it happened, but many times mental health issues play into this, sometimes delusion. There's all kinds of reasons, but the main thing, many times there are indicators, and people, I can't tell you how many I've heard them say, I wish I would have. I should have called. I should have taken it seriously. And today we have to. We have to rely on mental health people to help us, and that's something that if we hear something that doesn't seem right, if someone makes a comment like, I'm going to go to that school and shoot someone, we have to take it seriously. One of the things we teach here is deny, defend. So we want to deny someone access. So if you find yourself in an active shooter situation, the main thing is to deny that person access. In other words, make sure we keep the doors locked. We control who comes and goes in our schools, our churches, our buildings. Certainly, we don't keep people that need to be there, but just be aware. We want to defend. We want to defend ourselves. I think sometimes we look at what happened and we wonder, how did one person hurt so many? And many times we do what we're trained to do. We do what we know to do. And what happens is people hide, they become overwhelmed, or they're in shock, and they don't do anything. And so all I can tell you is that if something like this was to happen, we need to try to defend yourself, defend others, and prevent the person, stop the person. Some people aren't capable physically of doing that, but many times we have grown men and women in a room, 25 people to one. My recommendation is, again, you have to make it in your own mind. Can you do this? Will you do this? If you can't run away, if you can't hide, then you can defend yourself. I've had people say, well, can we hurt someone? Of course, if someone has a gun or a knife and they're hurting others, you can do something. You should do something. Some people aren't physically capable, but many are. So you need to make up your mind if something like this was to happen in this room, what would you do? And I don't think you'd be paranoid. Absolutely not. But the first thing I would recommend is get away. If there's an exit door. Someone walks in that door, the best thing for everybody to run out that door. That's the best thing to get away. So that's number one. So if you can't do that, then look for a place to hide. If you can't do that, then you need to defend yourself. I'll give you one quick example. We had this before I got here. In Walmart, a person went in, I can't remember if it was a machete or a hatchet or a knife, but stabbed some people. And they were basically an act of stabbing, if you will. And what stopped that incident was, and he came at an individual. Many people ran and hid and froze and were stabbed, but one person had a cart. He used that cart to knock the person back and actually threw cans of food at the person. 4 or 5, and the person actually, after he someone was afraid, but turned around and did something. That person actually, with a knife, turned around and ran out the building, and the attack stopped. Now that was just an individual in the store. See, we can do things, and we just have to think about it and prepare ourselves for something that we hope never happens. Now, one of the things we're doing here at the Marshall Police Department is we're trying to prepare for an event like this. This is something that we hope that never happens, and personally, I don't anticipate that it will. I hope it does, and I pray it doesn't. But as a police department, we owe it to our community, we owe it to our children to prepare for the work. So one of the things we are actively doing, in fact, I met with the chief of police at Marshall Independent School District Police Department, met with him today, and we're making plans and we're training and we're planning to kind of plan for something like this. Again, we hope it never happens, but my experience in law enforcement for 28 years is that when something like this happens, it becomes chaos, absolute chaos. So if we plan, we train, we work out what to do in advance, we'll lessen the situation. So in the high school, I know that school district is training their teachers, they're training the employees as to what to do, basically to prevent people from coming in, if they were to get in, to hide, to avoid, to run. So they are being trained in that, and I think it's important for people to know that. We're training on how to communicate, how to get in. We're getting diagrams of the school. So I guess the message I want to give you is that we are practicing, we are preparing, we are training, and we're also not only with the school district, but some of the other entities like the colleges and the hospital. So we're working with them to prepare for this. So we hope it never happens. We pray it never happens, but we are working toward trying to stop it or to prevent it and have an appropriate response. So basically, take it seriously. Don't walk around in fear, but be aware. There's a difference in being afraid and being aware. And that's really true even walking through a neighborhood or parking lot. Just be aware of your surroundings, of what's going around. A lot of times you can avoid things if you see it early enough. And if you have to run away the other way, run the other way. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, I recommend it. But if you see something, call 911, call the school, say something, and report it. So that's really my message to everyone here. I want to first leave you with the fact that we are preparing, we are taking this seriously, and we're doing what we can here in Marshall. We're also working with the sheriff's office, the other school district, the colleges here, the hospital. So we are working with them to prepare for the worst. But really, don't be afraid. Just be aware. And if something does happen, do something. Don't freeze. So think about that in advance and communicate if you see an issue. So does anybody have any questions for me or any concerns specific? Yes, ma'am.
It has to do with officers and how they feel about automatic weapons or rapid fire weapons. Are those so often it seems that they may be confronted by a perpetrator that has more force than they do?
I can comment. Of course, this is one of the hot topic buttons. It's kind of a political issue. There's a lot. No matter what I say here, someone's going to be angry with me. So, but I will say this: that I mentioned earlier that there was an attack with a knife, a machete, a gun. Anything can be a weapon. We have a lot of laws on the books that prevent gun use, right? I mean, it's illegal, first of all, to shoot someone. It's illegal to possess a certain type of weapons already. Sometimes I think we've gotten beyond legislation. I don't know if we can create any more laws that's going to make us any safer, because there's a lot of laws on the books right now that were violated. I mean, probably 50 laws were violated if they're in Florida when this shooting happened. I don't know that I'm answering the question, but I'm saying I don't think that that's the answer. I think the answer is because people are going to have guns. You look at Chicago; they've got the most strict gun laws in the United States, and they have more shootings in Chicago than they do in Houston. So what I'm saying is, I don't think we can. This is an issue that probably involves mental health. It involves preparation. It probably involves people putting off things that they should do now. So if someone says, I'm going to shoot someone. Used to, we didn't take that seriously. Now we're starting to learn that we have to do that. So I think the officers' feeling of guns, I think the main thing is the officers are trained to use weapons. They're trained to respond to these type of situations. We're never going to get the guns out of everyone's hands. And when you take the rights of one person to have a gun, there has been instances where gun ownership has stopped shootings, where people that have the guns stop them before the police even got to it. So I don't have a strong feeling one way or another. I'm simply saying that I don't personally think that passing another law is going to stop the shootings. I think the fact that, we've got to work with our school districts, making sure we have proper security. I think we have to do proper background checks. I think that, we have to be prepared for the worst. But mainly, I think we want to look at this as a mental health issue. Why are people doing this? I don't know the answer to that, but I think that's really where we want to put some resources in trying to prevent it. Now, I am for people, if people have mental health issues, I don't think they should be able to buy weapons or guns. There's a way to track that. There's not right now. So that means to me, that's something that we look into that aspect. But if you look at these shootings, most of them had a mental health issue. People doing these mass shootings.
Were there not rules or some kind of law that was taken off the books recently that did prohibit severely impaired folks from women?
I'm not aware of any law being removed. I am a law that it's illegal for a mental health person who is deemed mentally ill to purchase a weapon. The problem is, when a person goes to the store, there's no way of tracking if someone's mentally ill or not. Because they'll say, because the HIPAA laws will say, well, gosh, we can't provide that information. And so that, to me, that's just one of the issues that we're up against. And I don't pretend to know the answers of what laws should we have. My job is to enforce the law. So whatever laws are out there, we're going to enforce them. It just seems to me there's a mental health aspect to this that we really need to be drilling into. Why is this happening and how can we identify it? Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question. Comment identification. I think the mental health issue, you're right about that. I think it comes into play when there is a difference if you're voluntarily committed, if you're involuntarily committed. You could be deemed mentally ill and voluntarily committed into a psychiatric facility, and you can be involuntarily committed to the psychiatric facility, and that can be put on the record as being involuntarily committed. You can't get it fired. I think that's probably what.
Yeah, it does have something to do with it. The problem is if a doctor is seeing a person and they found that they're mentally ill, there's no way of tracking that. That doesn't go on their record. So if that person goes to buy a gun, I don't know how you're going to track it. I don't know the way to do that.
Yeah. So here's my question though. It relates to schools. When you have a child or a student that has, and this is with regards to planning, that you all are doing with teachers and staff.
Right.
When you have these shootings and if a student that is doing this, or if a staff member, but it's typically a student, and you all have been running these drills for students, there is a shooting or there's some kind of, code, whatever, they know what to do and things like that. Do you all have training for your staff that is separate with the students? Because typically, these students already know if something is happening in the classroom or something is happening here, that means that it's a shooting or something that is happening in the school. This is how we need to act. So these typically, it seems as though when these kids are doing this, they've been thinking about this for a long time. They know the spell system, they know when to do it, where to catch them, where to do, what they're going to do, where people are going to see. So it seems like a methodical kind of plan on their part, so they take out more casualties. That's their methodology. That's what they would like to do. And in the end, they don't want to have a consequence. They would like to take themselves out as well. So my question is, do you train the staff members on how to deal with someone that already knows how the kids and how the staff are probably going to react in that kind of situation? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I understand the answer, and I can answer it very easily. Yes. Now I'm going to go in more detail than that, of course, but the school has annual training for their teachers. The students are not there. If this summer, as part of their training, the officers that do that have been through the national training program on how to react and what to do and what not to do. Now, that changes over time, so they do it every year and they update people. Because when we look at these shootings, they go back and look at what worked, what didn't, and then they typically adjust that. So the answer is yes. You say you all. I'm only referring to the school district. They have their own police department, so they actually do the training for the school. Now we've done some training recently. We had training for the churches. We had the last shooting at the church, where we put on training and offered it to the churches, and had a really good response to that. And then we're going to be offering, next month or so, several more training to the general public. Again, it's just an awareness and a training and trying to give people some peace of mind to know what they can and should do. So we're going to continue to do that over the next month or so. Well, that's really all I have. I just want to kind of give a few comments about, what we can do, what we're trying to do now in preparation for something that we hope never happens, and how we're working with the school district and the other agencies in the area to deal with that. But thanks for coming, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief.